All right. Skye, how are you? So lovely to meet you. How are things going?
Oh, good. How are you, Bonnie? I'm so
I'm
excited to
so,
talk to you.
me too. Listen, I'm a Broadway babe, so I'm very
Really?
excited to speak to you. Let's
Oh,
just go
yay.
there.
Yeah.
My goodness, you started at such a young age to get up on a stage and have that kind of confidence. Where does that come from?
Yeah, I don't know. From literally when I was born, all I wanted to do was act and sing and dance and do theater. My parents had me try like every activity under the sun, and I always went back to theater. So they were like, okay, I guess this is what it's gonna be. Yeah, so I started doing shows really young. I was Mary Poppins in my preschool production of Mary Poppins.
Good for you.
Crazy, and I never
Yeah.
really looked back. I got to make my Broadway debut at 11. It was wild. I mean, I feel like as a kid, you're so uninhibited. You don't even realize like that
Yeah.
you're performing in front of thousands of people. Like you understand the stakes, but it's just also what you love to do. So
Right. But also like 8 shows a week, it's intense. And you
it
made a
is.
show like Kimberley Akimbo, which I cannot wait to see because we are getting that production here in Toronto in the fall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the traveling. Now, are you still with it? Are you still traveling with it? Or so
I
maybe
am on the national tour still. I don't know if our tour is going to Toronto or if that's like a different production of it, but I am currently on tour. I just stopping by New York for a few days to go to Tribeca. But yeah, I just got back from DC and I'm headed to Chicago
amazing.
next. So
Well, good for you. Well, I'm my fingers crossed that we'll get you here in Toronto. But either way, I'm so excited to see the show. But for you to, like you say, like your life is like a nomad now. Where do
yeah.
you fit in real life, Sky, like school and all that kind of stuff? Friends, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I graduated college last year, so I'm done with school, which is great.
Good for
Um,
you.
yeah, the timing kind of worked out perfectly there.
Yeah.
Friends, I mean, it's great because the people that I'm traveling with is such a good group of people and we have our community. To be fair, it is a little bit of a bubble. Like you're basically seeing the same
Sure.
people every day and, you know, doing the same thing every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
I always say like tour is kind of fake life. It's kind of this weird simulation of
Of
life, but
course. Yeah.
it offers a lot. I think I'm really good about staying in touch with my friends. Like we talk every single day. Like there's always a text thread blowing up. So I
Good.
still have my people, and I think that they know that I'm off doing this, but we're always going to come back together when we're in the same city.
Amazing. Okay, well, let's talk about Lemonade Blessing. I'm okay. First of all, you were amazing in this movie. You were like
Yeah.
effervescent. The second that you came on screen with your beautiful hair and your lovely smile and your face, you were just really lit up the screen. But I gotta say, tough material to work with.
hmm
And so I
hmm
wanted to know, first of all, what was your initial reaction to this? And how do you find a way in to relate to Lilith? Because I gotta say, she's not really the best influence on John.
Totally. Yeah, thank you so much, by the way, for all the kind words.
You're welcome.
Yeah, as soon as I read the script, I was like, I love this. I have to do this. I don't know if I can even articulate, or I don't even know if I've figured out why, but when I read it, I was like, I connect so heavily with Lilith. Obviously, I'm not like influencing people in the same way as her, but I
Yeah.
understood her on this deeper level and I loved her immediately. And I was like, I have to be her. And I had never really felt that way reading a script. So it was a very singular experience. I think finding a way in, she is bold and fiery but she has this really tough exterior that's difficult
Yeah.
to crack, but she has this really deep, beautiful, vulnerable, emotional life. Um, that she only really lets show through the cracks when she has her guard slightly down. But I think that everyone understands that. And I mean, I was 15 once too. Like there's all these firsts and common experiences and
For sure.
it's, you know, she I love her. I love her boldness. I love her stubbornness and all of her.
No, I agree. I kind of related to her too in that way. Like
Yeah.
I was very Lilith in high school for sure. And I got to say though, she is an extrovert, no question. But she's also, like you say, she's torn because here she is. She's got to go to this Catholic school, so you're being taught stuff that, whatever. Then we meet her in her home with her family and, very strict family. And she wants to rebel. And but faith plays such an important part of this movie, no question.
Absolutely.
Is faith something that's important to you in your life?
You know, it it isn't really. I've come from a very like open household and I feel like I'm half Jewish. I've explored a lot of religion. I went to a Jewish preschool. I went to like a Christian Catholic homeschooling place for years. Like
Yeah,
I've hit a lot of them. Neither of my parents are super religious. They're not against it at all. I would say my mom is more religious than my dad. But they've kind of always given me the opportunity to explore and make my own choices,
nice.
unlike Lilith,
Yeah,
um, which has been lovely. And I think with Lilith, yeah, she's just dealing with suppression from every angle, from her school, from her parents, what she can wear, like, and I think she's just trying to assert her own personhood despite that suppression.
yeah,
And I think that faith for her in that moment isn't where she's gonna end up going. She's gonna rebel entirely against it. And she
right.
can't find that middle ground because all she knows is she doesn't want to be her mom and she doesn't want to be her dad. And
Yeah,
religion has been used as a tool against her. But I think later in life, like, when she kind of is able to find her own personhood, maybe she'd be able to revisit that with a different look.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, I want to know about your connection with Jake. I just spoke to him and he's just lovely and
Yes.
he's so sweet, and to me he just seems like he's kind of a little bit like John in the introverted way, he's not
Yeah.
as, lovely young man. Tell me a little bit about the first time you guys connected, like, or met, and then how you connected and made it feel so real. Because again, she is so extroverted, he's introverted. To me, it seems like that's where you guys connected in real life too.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, I would say I'm probably more of an introvert than an extrovert. Yeah, definitely, actually.
Okay.
So I do think that Jake and I have that introverted like softness to us in real life, but also
Yeah.
that like fast-paced, like neurotic, anxious, a little awkward kind of vibe going on.
Sure.
I first met Jake at my final chemistry read, and I think we did this improv together of one of the scenes where we just made it entirely our own, and it went on for like 15 minutes, and we were off on every tangent, and we just both had such a fun time, and everyone in the room was laughing, and I think in that moment we were like, okay, this works.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I met him for that was on Zoom. I met him for the
Right.
first real life. I think we went bowling together the first time. Chris wanted us to hang out and actually create a real friendship and
Yeah.
a relationship. So we had that camaraderie and trust. So we went bowling, and I feel like there was just an immediate comfortability there. And we just had such good banter and jokes. And he's just so kind, and he always
Yeah.
made me feel so comfortable. And, he's had a lot more film experience than me. So it was nice having this person who was welcoming me with open arms.
Yeah.
I have nothing bad to say about this man. I love
Oh,
him so much. He was the
no.
best
And
star ever.
and then of course you have to do these, on-screen kiss. Hello,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love the one with the hoodie over you guys, like where you're kind of
my
tell
favorite.
I mean, obviously there's an intimacy coordinator and it's not like, heavy sex scene. It's just, but just you still have to kiss and do this kind of sloppy kiss. You're both adolescents. You've probably both of you've never kissed anyone before, and then
Hmm.
fail. You know what I mean? What's it like to portray something like that?
Yeah, I mean, it was so fun. Chris really did approach it from a great way too, and we did have an intimacy coordinator and we had talked through all of it. So there was definitely a comfort there. Also, like every time we would do a take, Jake would be like, "Are you okay? Like,
Oh,
how are you?" It was so sweet.
yeah,
He's just the sweetest. I think it was fun to know that, they had never kissed anyone before and have that awkward adolescence and fumbling and that innocence. I think what's interesting about this film is like it's not supposed to be hot or sexy, any of the kiss scenes.
no, for sure.
And
Yeah,
I think it's so great because I don't think we see that a ton in media, people actually being innocent and fumbling and having sloppy, messy, awkward kisses. So to
exactly.
actually get to play with that was great. And it really just makes you reflect on your own like first and your childhood. And I enjoyed the pressure that there wasn't any to be like sexy or that.
Right.
It just was real and authentic. And that's what I think is so cool about the whole movie is so grounded in truth.
I totally agree with you because I felt especially as a mom, I've raised two boys, whatever. So I know what they went through growing up and especially the adolescence years, like those teen years are like when you're just kind of making that transition, like you're liking girls, you're liking boys, whatever it is, and
Yeah,
and it's tough. Like growing up is hard, right?
totally. Yeah, I mean, you're doing it for the first time. No one
Yeah,
ever really knows what to do. And, you have this, you want to try and pretend that you know what's going on or that you've done all these things, at least to your friends, but no one has a clue, which
yeah.
is so fun to see even in this film.
100%. Yeah. I wanted to ask you because like I said, you did such a wonderful job in this, but yeah, it's your first big role on screen. What
Yeah.
was the difference for you, Skye, from doing something like, being on Broadway, being on a stage, and then having to do film? Was it a big
Yeah.
transition for you or was it easy for you?
Honestly, it was easy in a lot of aspects and then challenging in others. I think acting wise, obviously there's technical differences, but for me, kind of acting is acting and you're just always trying to tell that story and be that character, whether that's on a huge scope in front of thousands or in front of one camera. And I think that acting for me remains the same. It's kind of like a song on the radio. Like you can turn up or turn down the volume for like lots of people or just for yourself, but it's still the same song.
Right.
So I didn't struggle as much with performance-based stuff. What was interesting to me is the different culture in TV and film. In theater, you do everything yourself, basically. You put in your own mic, you do your own makeup, like you're responsible for your cues. Um, and then in film, all of a sudden, it's like nothing, like nothing
Yeah.
is my own. Like everyone does everything for me. Everyone brings me everywhere, which is kind of a relieving of pressure, but also
Right.
could be overstimulating. Like there's a lot going on all at once.
Yeah.
And it's very like slow, sit for a while, and then, oh my God, hurry up.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of an adjustment for me to figure out how to like keep myself calm and sane and in my own body during all of that. But
Yeah.
I loved it so much. It just made me have such a hunger and desire to do more movies. Like I think I found such a new love, and now I'm like, I just want to make films.
I don't think you're going to have a problem there, my dear. You are absolutely wonderful in this. And just to wrap it up, I'm thinking about it and I'm watching it and I go, I hope a lot of young people see this. What would you like them to take from it at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I hope young people see this too. I really hope it makes them reflect on their own life and the choices that they can make and that they see that they don't have to be, it doesn't have to be black and white or good and
Yeah.
evil or like you don't have to be exactly your parents and you don't have to be exactly against them. Like there is this way to find a common ground and to be able to explore. And what I think that's really cool is that this film is opening that conversation.
Mm,
And I also like that it's not really hitting anything over the head, like any certain theme. It's presenting this honest, true story, and it's
for
saying,
sure.
like, now you can think about what you want to think about and talk about what you want. And yeah, I think that that's really cool. And I think that we all have choices that we can make. And I also think it's cool to know that everyone's struggling to find themselves and find who
100%.
they are and who they should associate with. And no one has it figured out at that age. And I think it's a really good reminder that you're not alone in that.
Yeah. Well, listen, you were an absolute delight in person and on the film. And honestly, I think I'll be talking to you for many years to come when you're going to be getting that
Yeah.
Oscar for something. You were just
Awesome.
unbelievably good in this, honestly.
Thank
And
you.
who knows? Maybe they'll bring you to Toronto and I can meet you in real
I
life. So,
hope. I've never been to Canada. I would love to go.
well, we need to have you come here because, it's a great country despite what people are saying these days, but whatever.
Yeah.
But we'd love to meet you in person. Thank you so much for your time today, Skye. You're delightful, and best of luck on your tour. And hope to see you in person someday soon. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Bonnie.
You're very welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye, Bonnie.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Thanks, love.
Well, why can't I get out?